good morning, and good morning. I want to welcome everyone. Good morning, and good morning. I want to welcome everyone to our event this morning for our Lunch and Learn. My name is Audrey Brown, and I am the executive assistant to Ms. Francis, who will be presenting to us this morning on scaling your business. So, to give you a little information about our presenter this morning, I'd like to share with you that she is the executive director and she has coordinated, organized the cash flow collateral and leverage class. That class has been in existence for at least 18 months. That class has been very educational for all who are interested in learning through the center as well as through Zoom through the pandemic. From that class, we've received additional classes, one being the mastermind group, which has taken the financial education to a whole nother level. We also have the low voltage program, which includes the beginner's level of being an electrician. So if you know of anyone that's interested in that program, please reach out to the center, to Zan Wesley Holmes Junior Community Outreach Center, and we'll be more than happy to inform you of the next upcoming class for low voltage, as well as additional financial education classes. So with all the wealth of information that's been shared, I want to say welcome, welcome. I want to say thank you to our presenter. She has been a wonderful blessing to the community and sharing with us through her love of education, how to prepare us for the coming years and to how to prepare our families as well. So with that, I present to you Ms. Frances Smith Dean.
Thank you, Audrey, and welcome everyone. I hope you have your pencils and your paper. Today, our whole goal is learning how to scale your business. Now, this is not focused on revenue, but this is focused on taking your business to the next level. Sustainable models is going to focus on your revenues. But today, our focus is on scaling. So just to make sure my PowerPoint is straight. The mission of the Zamasu Holmes Junior Community Outreach Center is creating self-sustaining pathways out of poverty for young people and families living in Dallas through education, job training, and placement. The pathways include entrepreneurship, which today is our focus, STEM workforce training, which is low voltage, asset building. As you heard earlier, Audrey talked about the cash flow collateral class. That's one asset building class. And our second class is increments of success. I'm the executive director, Frances Smith Dean. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. I relocated here after Hurricane Katrina, and I'm just in love with this Dallas community. You guys have such a great opportunity for living in Dallas as well as the Texas area. So as we look at our agenda this morning, there are 3 questions you must be able to pinpoint and identify in scaling your business. We got to know the why, we have to know the what and the how. I believe in keeping it simple, because if you can answer those simple things, then guess what? You could answer the more complex things, okay? So simple is what we want to stick to. So when we look at the why, write your why down before we get started. I need you to write your why. Why is it you want to scale your business? What's that why for you? Everybody's going to have a different why. What is the why? Because if you can't answer the why, then guess what? It's going to be difficult for us to deal with the what and how. And don't let your why just be money. Your why has to be something else. It's got to be your love, your passion. I know you might be passionate about money, but don't just make it about money. So, beginning with the why is going to be key to you going to that next level, because your why put next to why will catapult you. So, this has to be a catapult to the next level. Your why must include your reasoning to catapult to the next level. For example, let me take the center. My why for the center is to be a global brand to bring financial education to the globe, not just to Texas, not just to Dallas, not just to the United States. We want to be a worldwide brand, the Zamasu Homes Junior Community Outreach Center. That's my why for the next level of the center. We are currently in my second why, which is in the United States. But my next why for scaling the Fraser House model is to be that global brand in the nonprofit sector for people globally, not just here locally. Next question is the what. Now, in the what, I'm going to break it down for you. We're going to look at the following: assess, identify, conquer, and set aside. So if you can write down assess, leave some space, identify, conquer, and set aside. When I'm talking about each category now, I want you to think in your mind what steps you must take next. So in assessment, ask yourself, do I have a business system in place that is profitable and cash flow? That is profitable and cash flows. And I'm going to explain both. You may make a profit in your business. And when I say profitable, you may bring in enough revenue to pay yourself and pay others and have a profit. That's profitable. Okay. But it may not cash flow every month like you needed to. You may find yourself in a hard spot where cash flow is not being created every month. So in looking at your business, you have to now determine if it's going to be profitable. If it is, your next goal is for your business now to become cash flow. It needs to cash flow. Okay.
Here's a summary from the ballot.
So those are two things that we're going to look at later on today. Next, identify. So I'm going to take some time with you to sort of outline the following. Have you identified your niche market? Have you identified the right people on your team? Have you identified ways to bring in business? Have you identified those competitors? Okay, so let's start with niche market. With the niche market now, who are you called to? So that's the question you ask yourself. In your niche market is, who am I called to? You're not called to everybody. So you can't be everything to everybody. Who are you called to? What's their age? What's their ethnicity? What's their skill sets? Are they professional, blue collar workers? Those are the things you must identify in your next level of doing business. Why? because now you have to take that niche market and explore other territories. So it's like this, you know, a lot of you ask, oh Lord, Lord, expand my territory. You can't just go out and expand it without understanding who the market is. Next is your team. Do you have a group of qualified individuals who can bring you to the next level? That's your question. Do I have a group of qualified individuals around me now, or that I have access to as consultants who can help bring me to the next level? If you don't, then what will happen is you need to go back to the drawing board and reassess that. You're going to have to reassess it based on your strengths and your weaknesses. So you're assessing the team based on your strengths and your weaknesses. So you're going to identify each individual, what's their strengths, what's their weakness, and find people who you know who are good at what they do and create a relationship. As Audrey always says, she says to me, strategic relationships. Number 3, identify each way you could bring in business. And here's what I mean. If you're in the marketing, or if you're in the podcasting, because I know I have a lot of service industry, or if you're a lawyer, you have to look at ways that you can go out there and consult on different teams, platforms, so that you can have that return on investment. So my board chairman says it all the time. She said, well, Francis, you put yourself out there. I'm putting myself out there because of my why. But I'm also putting myself out there because I'm identifying ways to bring in business and new strategic partners. Okay? Because why? There are other people out there who do a much better job at the nonprofit arena. But if I don't get out there and begin to network, we can't create those strategic relationships, nor can ideas come from hearing others as ways to bring in business. And then your competitors. Identify the people who do what you do, but do it better. And then look at their ways that they bring in business. Examine that. Identify 2 to 3 competitors. You don't have to have a lot. Have one in your local area. Have one, look at one on a national platform, and look at people on global platforms. See what they're doing. Understand their business models, so that you could be able to be successful too. Next, conquer your fears. The biggest thing I have with a lot of my clients who I coach, they're fearful. They're fearful of expanding. They're fearful of going to the next level. You got to conquer that. Weaknesses, conquer it. I have people who tell me all the time who I coach, they say, I don't have the bandwidth. Yes, you do. You all have, this is the best time to be an entrepreneur. You guys are in the right place at the right time. I want you to understand, you got to conquer the fears, the weaknesses, and overcome the learning curves and those negative sayings or patterns, because why? The best is yet to come at your next level. We know that you have greatness. If we didn't, we wouldn't waste our time providing this type of content. you must conquer your fears, because your fear is keeping you from that next level. There's a lot of things we don't know, but we get together as a team, Jasmine, Audrey, and we research. We do what is called our due diligence. I pass that concept even onto our cash flow collateral tribe. I say, guys, you got to do your due diligence. Why? Because now you have to what? Grow your capacity, overcome weaknesses. We do a book study. We've read so many books. Why? We have to overcome the learning curve. If you don't do this, you can't go to the next level. You have to get out of what is called stagnation. Next, set aside. Okay, this is crucial. Everybody's busy working. What is that telling me? You're busy trying to make money. But now you have to set aside time to work on the business and not in the business. But you don't do that. What do? You're so busy working on the business that you haven't taken the time now to set aside to work on the business. Pastor Turner called me over the weekend. I said, Pastor Turner, I take an hour to 2 hour long drives. She said, you're getting the download. That's my time to think and work on the next project. Now, that's just how I do it, guys. I'm not saying everybody has to take a drive, but for me, I have to get away. I have to drive. I have to clear my head and hear what it is or think about what it is that I have to do next. Don't work in your business, work on your business. Take time to assess your business and get outside views and opinions. You think you're the greatest thing, and that's good. But now you need to take a look and say, okay, let me go to other people who may know my skill set or know this particular skill set, and let me get their opinion. So you taking time to get other people's opinion while you're working on your business and their views, don't take it personal. This is the time for you to grow. And also set aside excuses. So let me make sure we got this. Set aside time to work on your business and not in your business. Set aside time for your business to get outside views and opinions, and set aside your excuses. Okay, so now going to the how, but before I go to the how, let me do a quick review, because in the how, that's when we're really going to break down so that you could get it. So I'm doing a quick review for the people who may have just come in. Okay. I said to the group, you got to know your why. Why is not about money. Money is a sustainable models issue, okay? So remember, the money or your revenue is based on how can I sustain my business model. This is how can I go to the next level in my business, okay? And your why is your passion. I gave you an example. I said, I'm on my third why for the Zamasu homes. Now I'm thinking it out. Okay, so I'm working on it. And me working on it, my third why deals with how do we create the Zamasu Homes Junior Community Outreach Center as a global brand. So what have we done? In Dallas, we created it. And now we're at the national because we service people from other states, Ohio, Maryland, Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, California. So our brand is growing nationally. Now I'm thinking about the why for globally. Am I putting it in place now? No, it's in my thought process to how we're going to scale to the next level. Okay, so that's what you do. It's not here yet, but now you're it's in incubation. We're incubating it. You're incubating it right now. Okay, because if you don't know the why, you can't go to that next trajectory. Then I said, question number 2 is the what. And in the what, you got to do the following: assess, identify, conquer, and set aside. So in assess, do you have a business system? If you don't have a business system, and what I mean, that business system has to be profitable and has to cash flow. Got to be both. It may be profitable, but it may not cash flow. Got it? You may be able to pay yourself and pay other people and have a profit left at the end of a year, a business year, your fiscal year, but you may need it to cash flow quarterly, monthly, weekly, whatever that is. Okay? So this is a sustainable models. We do that class also, but sustainable models, that's what you need to now redesign. Identify niche market. Who are you called to? That's your question that you're going to ask yourself. Who are you called to in this process? Because who you're called to is going to help you now catapult your trajectory. But you got to really, really know this market. You really have to understand who these people are. You got to understand their needs and things like that. Team. Who are the people that bring value to your team? It is okay to let go dead weight. Sometimes we want to give excuses for letting go dead weight. But in a team, if people not bringing value, it's okay. You could let go the dead weight. Then also next is identify all the ways you think you could bring in business. You now need to sit down and just on a pad list all the ways you could bring in business. You got a product. I could bring in business through different conventions. I could bring in business through different events, or I could bring in business through certain times of the year for Valentine's, for holidays. You got to just brainstorm that. If you're in a service business, I could bring in business if I can go to different platforms and may barter or offer services to other people who you've identified who need it, but they may have large platforms, and on their platform you can get business. Okay, that creative thinking. You all have the creativity. Now it's time for you to expand that. And then finally, competitors. Look at what your competitors do well. Understand how your competitors now are doing business at the next level. Look at it 3 ways: locally, nationally, and globally. Why? Because this is going to be crucial for your next level of scaling your business. Conquer fears. Fear is the biggest devil that's out there. If we don't conquer our fears now, we will be left behind. We have to conquer them. It is okay if you are not successful. That was your learning curve. See, here's the thing. In conquering, when we're dealing with fears, we're saying this: I'm afraid of the unknown. Well, guess what? You're going to have to test the waters. Conquer your weaknesses. Overcome your learning curves. And conquer those negative sayings and patterns. We could talk ourselves out of a paper bag because of fear. Now it's time for you. This is the greatest time ever for you to look at things differently. And then finally, in this section of assessing, I said set aside. Set aside time to just strictly work on your business. Don't work in it, work on it. Set aside time to assess your business and get outside views and opinions. People can give you some valuable nuggets. Don't be afraid for constructive criticism. And set aside excuses. Now, let's go to the last and final question for quick scaling your business. And if you have questions, put them in the chat, because I'm going to give you 3 dynamite words that's going to take you to that next level. And this is the how. The first one, measurable. Everything you do from now on in scaling has to be measurable. What do I mean by that? Return on investment, meaning if you're going to invest the time, you have to say, what are those measurable objectives or measurable goals that I must meet? It's got to be measurable. You can't just network just to network. If you go to a network session, you have to say before you go, I need to get 3 contacts who can do the following. Help me launch whatever, or help me do whatever. You have to now quantify it. The biggest thing with small businesses, they just do, but they don't make it measurable. Now you have to make it measurable. If you go to an event and you're networking with other people, you have to go in saying, I need to be able to sell at least 2 products. Or I need to be able to go to this event and bring out 5 potential leads. That's measurable. You meet people every day. You never know what they need unless you ask. And you're always one step away from the solution. Let me say that again. You're always one step away from the solution. So here's what I mean. I may be able to go out there and network, and the person who I'm networking with may not need my product or service. But guess what? They know someone. So you always think in terms of, I'm one person away from what? Making that connection. So that's what makes it measurable. And measurable also, you must make big moves that will provide you with the highest possible return. Here's what I mean. Don't ever think small. Don't ever think small. Think big, because you never know what you're going to hit. Don't ever sell yourself short. Think big, because you never know what you may hit, and make sizable gains. So I tell people come to me all the time and they say, well, Francis, I want to make $1 million. I said, okay. And so when I tell them processes, how to do it, they're not ready for it because that process requires a lot of time and it requires them to do a lot of due diligence. But I tell them all the time, don't count yourself out. It's a mindset. You have to get in the game mentally first and start exercising and building your capacity for you to go to that next level. Here's our next term, asymmetrical. In asymmetrical now, this means catapulting. For asymmetrical, we're going to measure the following. You must take advantage of opportunities that provide you with greater upside than downside. Let me say that again. A lot of you want to do comfort level. A lot of you want to do in my little group. Just recently, I had to shake up the tribes and I had to tell them, you cannot do your business with your family members. Why? That's comfort. You can do it with other tribe members, but you just can't. You can't sit in here, sit back, lay in the cut, and think I'm gonna give you a pass. That's not happening. You have to now take advantage of opportunities that's gonna give you a great upside. Now, that's gonna take some thought because why? You're gonna have to think of, it's gonna be a numbers game. It's gonna be that numbers game. You gotta look at not just your local, you gotta look at the globe. You gotta look at 6 billion people versus 350 million people. You're gonna have to play a numbers game to say, how can I make this asymmetrical move? And currently right now, the tribe members know, we're dealing with asymmetrical moves in both the stock and the crypto market. These are asymmetrical moves. And then next is assessing risk to reward. You got to put some skin in the game, folks. Everything ain't free. You got to put some skin in the game. But as you're putting the skin in the game, you're saying you're doing the pros and the cons. You're mapping out. This asymmetrical move is a mapping move. It's a move on the chessboard that could launch you to higher heights. Leverage. This is my favorite. Okay, let me go back because this is what I teach in our class. And leverage is something that we have to now begin to master. But let me go back. Okay. Let me go back to the how. Okay. So we're on the how. The how, when we're for people who just come in, we're on the third question on how we're going to scale your business, okay? The first on the how is measurable, meaning everything you do, once you start creating your scalability plan, has to be measurable. If it is not measurable now, you're wasting your time. It's got to be measurable. Okay, so let's say this. If you are in the, let's say you're in the marketing business and you attend conventions or things like that, you have to now say, or if you're in different networks, you have to now say to yourself, how can I, connect with certain groups of people? I don't have to sell them packages so much, but I can get them to start talking about my business or have them place me on their platform so I can talk about my business. It's just different ways you can maneuver, but you need to now make it measurable. So you're going to have to think with the end in mind before you even get into the room or before you even network with the people. In measurable, you must make big moves that will provide you with the highest possible return. Got to make big moves. So we like to travel. We think about everything you like to do. You got to start making this stuff measurable. Why? Because measurable is going to start giving you sizable gain, but you got to quantify it. You know, I tell people in the nonprofit area, I know you love doing good for the community, but if you don't have the data or if you don't quantify it, it's going to be very challenging for you to stay in the nonprofit business. Our second how is asymmetrical. Asymmetrical is going to catapult you. So asymmetrical moves really leapfrogs you over some other moves you could have made, over the smaller moves. In asymmetrical, you're going to have opportunities provided to you with greater upside potential. Remember, you're always what? One person away from your next move. If you keep that in mind, as you begin to meet people, you're one person away. Got it? So you assess the risk to reward ratio. Now, I know I'm giving you a whole lot of mathematics, but it's going to be the math. It's going to be the law of numbers that will change your paradigm. If you're in a pond, you're going to have to get to the ocean. Think about it. But how do you get to the ocean? Between the pond and the ocean, those are the steps you are trying to figure out to scale. See, you don't have the same type of boat in a pond, now do you, than you do in the ocean. You need a whole different what? Way to sail. And I want you to think in terms of that, because I know a lot of people are visual. Look at it in the pond versus, okay, what must I do to prepare to get to the ocean? Okay. That way it may help you see it better. Can I use the same boat? No. You got to get out that little bitty boat and get to a much bigger, deeper boat. You understand? For you to sail. This is about you sailing. But here is my favorite one of all, leverage. Why? You get to do the following: leverage partnerships, time, ideas, platforms. The list goes on and on. Never ever say to yourself you can't afford it. There is someone in your network that you can leverage. They might not give you everything, but they will give you access to some things. They may give you access to their wisdom that you would have had to pay $300 and $400 and $500 an hour from some expert. But you got to list the people among you that you could work with to leverage. You all have some great skills. I mean, when I was reading the list of businesses, I was just amazed at the opportunities that you guys bring in this fourth industrial revolution, and your skill sets are going to be needed. But guess what? We got to get out the pond boat and get into a bigger boat. And that's what it means to scale your business, because now you got to go to the ocean and you're going to have to learn how to sail in the ocean. You've mastered the pond. You've mastered that. But again, conquering your what? Fears. Let's go back here. Got to conquer fears. Got to conquer the weaknesses. What you don't know is what you don't know. Overcome the learning curves. And conquer negative sayings and patterns. See, the conquering part is going to be important. It's going to be important. So let me go back and review. Remember, what did I say? 3 questions today, made it very simple and easy. And I have an exercise for you guys to do so that you can meet me back in 30 days, because guess what? I know you guys have great potential. And I know, because I'm looking through all of the businesses that were submitted, I know that with the right coaching, you guys could go to the next level easily. So what did I say first? The what? No, the why. Why do you want to scale your business? If you don't know the why, that's going to be the issue. It's not about money. The money portion is sustainable models. Is how to make your business sustainable. That's a whole different class. But the why in your business is different. Why do I want to go global? Because we offer people pathways out of poverty. That's why. Why? Because people who come to the center have been successful, have followed the message. That's the why. There's poverty, there's a plethora of poverty. I feel that we have the global solution. That's my why. Okay? For you all, the next question was the what? I said to you, assess, identify, conquer, and set aside. You got to assess your current system. You may be profitable, but you may not have a complete business system in place. See, that's that sustainable models course that I'm going to follow up with. But you may need to look at your business system. In your business system, is it profitable and does it cash flow? You may make money, that's good, but it may not be to the point where you're cash flowing all the time. Identify. Got to know that niche market. You got to know, you got to have people who are on the team that bring you value. You got to be able to identify all the ways to bring in business. And you must know your competitors. It is okay. Get in the game. Understand what your competitors do at the local, national, and global level. Conquer fears, weaknesses, overcome learning curves, negative sayings and patterns. Set aside time to work on the business, not in the business. Time to assess your business and get outside views and opinion and excuses. The how. It's got to be measurable. You got to crunch the numbers now. Got to crunch the numbers. So COVID, let me give you an example. COVID may have closed the physical building, but it didn't stop us from what? Getting to the masses. Zoom helped us get to the masses. See, we were at the point where we reached about 8,000 people. 5,000 of those people got jobs. It may have stopped the physical building, but it didn't stop us where? Remotely, because we took the model, placed it remotely, and it brought us to other states. Okay? So what am I saying to you? I was thinking of, okay, COVID's here, measurable. Now I got to go to other people outside of Dallas, Texas. Got it? And so we were successful in doing that. Immeasurable, you got to make big moves that will provide you with the highest possible returns, sizable gains. But remember, it's a numbers game, folks. Every time you go out there and you start talking about your business, just don't talk to talk. Have a goal or objective in mind so when you come home, you can measure that success. Asymmetrical. This is going to catapult you to that next level. Asymmetrical moves now will take you to levels unknown. I'm going to just give you an example of an asymmetrical move for me. So I would attend the New Orleans conference. It was a gold and silver show that was hosted by a group in New Orleans. So I would attend it. So this is a Katrina year. We're out. So most people wouldn't have gone to conferences. They would try to work on getting themselves back, with the houses. I said to myself, I'm going to make this move. And I'm going to meet someone who's going to put me on their national platform. Bingo. Guess what happened? I happened to be sitting in Mark Skousen's his presentation. Mark Skousen came up to me and he said, Francis, I want you on my platform. I said, what's your platform? He said, Freedom Fest. That was an asymmetrical move. That was it. But in my head, I said, okay, before I even got there, I said, okay, most people wouldn't show up to conferences, okay, because Katrina had just happened. I said, I'm going. I said, I got to get my head together. So I did. Went, attended the event, sat in Mark Skousen's his little session. He came up to me. I didn't go up to him. He said, Francis. I'm like, how you know my name? He said, I want you to be on that was it. That was an asymmetrical move for me. That's what I'm talking about. You're going to have to go places and go to events and things that you had no clue. You're lost in the midst. But I made that asymmetrical move and I haven't looked back since. Leverage. One of the most powerful terms you need to take away from today's talk. There are people in your life that have knowledge and wisdom that you're going to have to glean from now. This fourth industrial revolution will bring you a plethora of opportunities, but you need those relationships. Again, I couldn't have met Dr. Walter Chin if I didn't have relationships. I mean, big relationships in order to leverage. I had to leverage relationships when I started dealing with the U.S. Business Council with Chinese business people. So I'm just telling you, leverage is important. Having those relationships. Our chairman of the board can tell you, we leverage relationships, friendships. If you don't have those relationships, you're going to have to bring value. Now, you can't go to people and you don't have value. You got to bring value, guys. You're going to have to think of how can you bring value to the other person? Because if you can't bring any value, you're not going to be able to leverage. You got to be a +1, not a 0. 0 times anything is 0. So leverage time, partnership, ideas, space. We leverage space. We leverage relationships, partnerships. We leverage that. Our model is one of a leverage. We couldn't have hired or had those people hired if we didn't have those relationships. Here's your homework for me. Assess your current clientele by providing them with a survey about your product or service. Complete this exercise by May the 6th so we can discuss your findings over a Zoom follow-up. Everybody who is on this particular call today, or if you've registered for today, you will receive a survey. But I want to tell you, this is the greatest time in history for you to start your business. This is the greatest opportunity that you could take advantage of to make game-changing results. You know why? Because you had the heart for it. I looked at all the businesses and I had to say to myself, I said, wow, you guys, you have the heart to do this. You have the heart for it. Audrey, do we have any questions?
Yes, we do. We do. Is it imperative to have more than one why? And how flexible should we be with the why over time?
Okay, so you don't have to just have one why. You can have several whys. But you can only work on one why at a time. I don't want you to overload yourself. You understand? When you're dealing with the why, take your time, develop it out, and make sure it's working for you, in other words. Okay?
How do you develop an asymmetrical mindset?
Okay, so I'm a risk taker. Many people aren't risk takers. So start with little things. Put your faith out there for little things. And then because think of it as a muscle. You're building a muscle. You don't just start stretching and running and jogging 5 miles. You do it incrementally. So begin with tiny steps. And then one day, that asymmetrical move will come and you will be able to recognize it because something is going, okay, here was my other asymmetrical move. My mother had passed in 2008 and I got this information from Robert Kiyosaki saying, come to the psychology of winners, because mentally I've been drained. I've been drained from running home, try to deal with the house. I have been drained from being a caretaker. So, I had to get my mind back in the game. So I went to the psychology of winners. Boom. That was it. Again, I did something most people not going to do. Just like I tell my oldest daughter, I said, Francis, you're in epidemiology. You got to be different from everybody else. You're going to have to go places that people who look like you don't go. I need you to start traveling globally. She did. Guess what? She landed scholarship offers, job offers, you understand? Because she went to places that other people don't go. And I'm just telling you, there are going to be opportunities out there that you can be able to take advantage of, but you got to go where nobody else is willing to go. Go ahead.
Next question. Will you send a list of everyone's business out to the group today?
If they give us permission. So with a follow-up, Jazz, we'll have to send something asking permission, and if they give us, they
I'll
want
include it on the survey.
we said it. Okay, yeah. Jazz is going to include on the survey. Thank you, Jazz.
No problem.
Okay.
Comments, a suggestion for leverage phone contacts, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram.
Good, right? Social media, great leverage tool. How many friends you? Okay, good ideas. Good for suggesting that. Go through your social media contacts. Ask yourself, do these people bring value? And if they do, how can you help leverage? You understand? Maybe they can help get the word out about your business. Maybe they can, remember, you're one person away. One person away. Always remember that. So don't discount people. Don't pre-qualify people. You never know. Go ahead, Audrey.
Okay. Can you repeat the homework assignments?
Yeah. Okay. Let me share.
Yes.
Okay. And when Jasmine sends that out, so it's due on May 6th, you're going to assess your current clientele by providing them with a survey about your product or service. You're trying to do the following. One, see if they like your product or service. That's number one. But number two, glean ideas. Guess what? People see things in different light than you do. They may give you $1 million idea without you even knowing it.
Mm-hmm.
In our brainstorming session on the 6th, we could discuss the type of ideas your folks gave you. So what? We could work through how you could leverage it or how it could become asymmetrical. You understand? You never, ever know who you're entertaining. Go ahead.
Next question is, what if you don't have a business? What can you do to help get going for a business?
Okay. But you got a passion. Everybody does. And as the word of God says, we all have a measure of faith. There are some things that you are just passionate about. So I want you to develop a list of ideas. So get a composition notebook and create a list of ideas. And from the list of ideas, then we could explore a survey to your Facebook friends. What do you think I would be good at?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So your list of ideas, you can now survey your friends and say, what do y'all think I'll be good at? And just have a little survey and let them vote. It'll be fun, but you'll learn a lot about what people think about you. Audrey?
Okay. Everything else is just saying they're happy that they made it to this training. They want to thank you for the information and want to reach out to you at a later date.
Okay.
And I have the names.
Okay. All right. So if, look, guys, this is your time. I want you to be the best you could be. And that's what our hope is for you at the Zamasu Homes Junior Community Outreach Center. We know you can do it. We know that you have the love and the heart for what you're doing. I mean, you guys have such wonderful businesses, and the opportunity is there for you to sail forward. Remember, we're moving from the pond to the ocean. So in doing that, we need a whole new way to travel, a mode to travel. So I want to thank you guys for being with us today. If you have any questions, I'm gonna give you my email address. Now don't blow it up because I get like $300 a day. But I'm gonna put my email address so you could have it. The office phone, my email address, Frances, FRANCES Smith Smith at ZWHJCOC.org, and the office phone. But I want to thank you. I hope that you enjoyed your time. I will do a sustainable models class that's going to deal with your cash flow and your profitability. That will be a separate class, but in scaling, you're putting your plan to scale to the next level. And this will help you catapult. So once we talk about the sustainable model, you will have this whole idea and worked out before you do this, the sustainable model class. Are there any other questions? Audrey, I think we see some.
Their comments, they're saying thank you, and then thank you, and then thank you. A canoe or a yacht? Which one are we going to?
Huh?
They're saying a canoe or a yacht?
Yeah.
Yes, the yacht.
The yacht. We're going to the yacht, not the canoe. I have to have that luxurious living. So we're going to the Well, I love you guys. Thank you for being on today. I hope that this was able to help. I will see you out March 6th. We're going to do it, and we're going to do it big. Y'all take care.
Please remember to watch the website for our upcoming classes, Financial Wellness Village, as well as the new tribes coming out next month. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.